For this video, we're working on the sheet called SUMIFs. As you would imagine, this function is very similar to the SUMIF function, but it has the advantage of being able to work with multiple ranges and multiple criteria. However, there is still only one sum range. In column A, we have a list of employee names. Then we have their job status, their position, and their salary. We want to work out how much salary we are paying to all the full-time staff only by position. So how much for finance staff, for IT staff, sales, engineering, HR. Let's click on to cell G3 and click on the FX button. From the All category, we'll make our way to the SUMIFs function. Once it is selected, we can click OK. When this box opens, it looks as if there are only 2 required fields. But as we start working, more fields will appear. The first field that it looks for here is the sum range. And unlike the SUMIF function, the sum range here is a required field. It wants to know where is the range that we want to sum. Well, it's the salary. So click on to cell D2, Control Shift and down arrow to select, and then F4 to make it absolute, which also scrolls us back up the data. Remember, we're going to be fill handling, and we do not want that salary range to move. Click into Criteria Range 1, and the first criteria will be the word full-time. So the criteria range must contain the words full-time. So click on to cell B2, Control Shift and down arrow to select, and then F4 to make it absolute. Click into Criteria 1, and we've said the criteria is the words full-time. Now, rather than type in those words, click on to cell G2 and let it read them. Then press F4 to make it absolute. Click down into Criteria Range 2, and our second criteria will be the position. So finance, IT, etc. So the criteria range must contain those words. Click on to cell C2, Control Shift and down arrow to select, and F4 to make it absolute. Click into Criteria 2, and rather than type in finance or IT, etc., click on to cell F3. When finished, we want to fill handle down and have that criteria change from finance to IT to sales, etc. So we leave that relative. That's everything done, so we can now click OK and fill handle down. Then let's put on currency and widen that column. And now we can see how much salary we're paying out to our full-time people in the different departments. So the SUMIFs function is different from SUMIF in that it allows multiple ranges and multiple criteria. In fact, up to 127 range and criteria pairs. But like the SUMIF, we still only have one sum range. Our next video will look at the average ifs function. If you're moving on to that next video called Use the average ifs function, then you can keep this workbook open.